Today's our last devotional from the book of Hebrews. Chapter 13 is the final chapter in the book. And if you've been tracking along with us, then you've noticed in Hebrews that it's really all about Jesus. The author's trying to convince the Hebrew Christians that they were better off to stick with Jesus rather than going back to their old ways, back to Moses, back to the Old Testament laws and covenants, that Jesus is superior to all of that. And at the end of chapter 13, really it boils down to the very same thing. It's reinforced once again in chapter 20 and 21. He concludes by saying, "Now may the God of peace, who through the blood of the eternal covenant brought back from the dead our Lord Jesus, that great shepherd of the sheep, may he equip you with everything good for doing his will, and may he work in us what is pleasing to him through Jesus Christ, to whom be glory forever and ever." And so we see a number of reasons here why Jesus is preeminent. The first among them is that he rose from the dead and he lives today. No other great leader of the world is alive today. A great spiritual leader or any other kind, no hero, no teacher lives today. Once their life is over, they're done. But Jesus lives today because God raised him from the dead, as it says here in verse 20, that God brought back from the dead our Lord Jesus. So that's why he's preeminent over every other human being, because he is alive today. Another reason that we worship him, we honor him as above everything else, is that he's our shepherd, that he takes care of us. He has this unique role in relation to us. He calls us his flock, his people. And so verse 20 talks about our Lord Jesus, that great shepherd of the sheep. He meets our needs. He cares for us. He nurtures us. He's everything that we need. Another reason that he's preeminent above everything else is that God does his work in us through Jesus. Not only the work of salvation when Jesus died on the cross to bring us into covenant relationship with God, but his ongoing work in our lives today. And so he prays, may God equip you with everything good for doing his will. We want to see us equipped for pleasing God. And he says, may he also work in us what is pleasing to him. And notice he does both of these things in our lives through Jesus Christ. Our ongoing sanctification, our growth in faith is through Jesus Christ. And so that's why he is so important to us. And because of all those reasons, the chapter concludes the book of Hebrews by reminding us that Jesus deserves glory forever and ever. It says, to whom be glory, as I just said, forever and ever, that as long as we're alive and we'll live eternally because of Christ, then our lives will give glory to him. We'll worship him, we'll fulfill his purposes in our creation, and Jesus will be glorified by all that he's made forever and ever till the end of time. That's what he deserves because he is preeminent. And so, as a practical wrap-up to the whole book of Hebrews and its whole emphasis on Christ, I want to encourage you not to let anybody diminish your devotion to Jesus. Don't let anything else in your life undercut your loyalty to him, the incredible place that he deserves in your life, at the very center of your being, of your thought, of your affection every day. He's alone the one who brings us to God. He alone's the one who perfects us in our faith. He is alone the one who lives in us, who empowers us, and all the rest. And so I want to encourage you to think about this and maybe pray this through today. What reduces or undermines your affection for Christ? Are there things in your life that you tend to place ahead of Jesus in that central place of your heart? Why don't you think and reflect about that in prayer today? May you have a wonderful day.